When it comes to B segment SUV in our market, it has been led by these two most popular models. Of course, we're talking about the national car maker Proton X50 and the Honda HR-V. But in recent time, we've seen lots of Chinese counterparts coming in, for example, Chery with the Omoda 5 slowly creeping into our market. But in case you are bored of these three models, you've seen your neighbors using this and that, you want to stand out a little bit from the crowd of these B SUVs, boy, do I have a car for you. This is it. This is the new GAC GS3 Emzoom. In today's video, we're going to have a look at what's so good about this Mecha-Inspired, overtly stylish B SUV. My name is Mukles. This is Caricarz. Alright, so from the get-go, you can see that the GAC GS3 Emzoom is a very stylish car, and this is especially true if you opt for this range-topping premium R variant. Okay, at the front here, it comes with this vertical slats front grille, which GAC calls Mecha Wing, and courtesy of the premium R variant, you also get this sporty front lip here, and down here you get this sharp-looking LED headlight, which I kind of like. It looks like a diamond-shaped kind of thing, pretty nice. And at the side, it also comes with this 18-inch alloy wheels, this matte grey or matte black color, which looks pretty nice but a little bit more simplistic compared to the side part of the car. Of course, it comes with this sharp shoulder line that goes all the way to the back. You can see this sharp side mirror caps design, comes with this sculpted design at the lower part of the door. And unique thing about this car, it comes with this large door handle, which is the only B segment SUV to feature this thing as far as our market is concerned. Okay, moving to the back, the sportiness continues because you can see it comes with this rather sloping tailgate design that goes all the way to the back here with this like a almost ducktail-like spoiler, but the actual spoiler actually located up here, and it comes with this center third brake light that looks it came straight out of Formula 1, don't you think? But key highlight of the car, of course, at the back here, this diamond-shaped LED taillights and this massive fake diffuser that also houses a not fake, this is a not fake dual tailpipes, which we'll talk about a little bit later on. So on board the GS3 Emzoom, you can see it comes with this rather typical but quite nice laid out front dash setup. So of course, you can see it comes with lots of soft touch materials, including soft touch front dash here, also got on the side center console here, on the armrest here, and you can see it comes with this dual display setup, which is quite typical in many modern Chinese cars nowadays. But this car is actually, although it comes with a lot of haze, it also comes with a slight few misses, which makes it a little bit jarring compared to other competitors. For the infotainment display, of course, its size is quite a little bit small because they're different, but it's quite good because the intuition is very smooth, the color is very nice. But unfortunately, it only comes with Apple CarPlay, no Android Auto support whatsoever, and the menu is a bit small, especially for the side screen, so it really is difficult for you to navigate through the menu, especially when you're driving. And moving on to the instrument cluster, it is a very nice because it looks like a jet fighter side because you've got three separate displays, actually one at the center and two flanking on the side. But unfortunately, it comes with no shot up there, and it can really be susceptible to glaring, especially in daytime. As you can see, it's very reflective. Like I said, the layout is nice, but it just comes with the hood so that it can be less glaring now. Alright, the next thing is in terms of the central console. You can see the car still comes with these physical buttons for the climate controls, which is quite nice. But I have to say, the bad thing is that the button feels a little bit cheap-ish, and you don't get a dedicated display for the echo meter panel, which can be quite daunting. And moving on to the center console, it is nicely raised. I can see the level of it is right on par level with the armrest here. You also get this crystal gear shifter, wireless charging pad here. But unfortunately, the USB port is located down here, which is quite difficult for somebody to access. And you also got no other driving related control because almost all, if not all, of the driving controls are located inside the infotainment, so it can be quite dangerous for drivers and difficult for them to engage in those settings. But to end things in a positive note, I really like the front seat because it feels very bolstered and it's quite comfy because this material is quite plush. You also got tons of soft type materials, including on the armrest here, even on the door cards and everything. And you also get an ambient lighting system with 64 selectable colors, and more importantly, the sound system is quite good. And life at the back seat of the GS3 Emzoom is quite a spacious one because, like I tell you earlier, this B segment SUV is the biggest model in its segment. So you get plenty of leg room at the back here. You can see the front seat has been adjusted to my driving position. I'm 170 type C and tall. I got plenty of leg room here. Quite ample headroom also, surprisingly, despite the sporty roofline. And you can see the floor is almost flat, so meaning that you can technically seat 3 adults comfortably behind these rear seats here. But unfortunately, the aircon vent and the USB only comes once, so like it or not, you need to share with the next passenger. And finally, for the sunroof, I think this car comes with a quite nice sunroof because it's very big. It goes all the way to the rear seat, but unfortunately it comes with a shutter, but the shutter is just a little bit too thin, so meaning that even on hot and sunny days you can get pretty hot inside the car. And the boot space for the GS3 Emzoom is quite usable because as standard you get 341 liters of space for utilization, and of course you can fold it down the rear seat to allow more than 1300 liters of space at the back here. And it also comes with enough space to house a space saver spare tire down here, but unfortunately this car does not come with a tonneau cover or parcel shaft, so you need to buy an aftermarket one. So hiding beneath the GS3 Emzoom hood is a 1.5 litre 4-cylinder turbocharged engine that, according to GAC, it delivers 174 horsepower and 217 Nm of torque, making it the torquiest B-segment SUV in the market, and the horsepower output is also putting it on par with other turbocharged B SUV models. Okay, so this engine is mated to a 7-speed DCT gearbox, so according to GAC, this car can go from 0 to 100 km per hour in just 7.5 seconds en route to its VMAX of 190 km per hour. So on paper, you can see the Emzoom is actually one of the powerful or the most powerful B7 SUV in our market. But then again, this car is beyond its engine because we got something very nice at the back. And like I said earlier, these tailpipes are not fake because the GS3 Emzoom, especially in the premium R spec, it comes with an active exhaust system. Okay, let me explain. Okay, the left part of the exhaust is always being kept open. This is the default exhaust, but the right pipe actually, it comes with an adaptive valve inside where you can actually engage the valve using a button at the steering wheel. So once you engage in the sport mode and you click on the exhaust active button, it actually opens up the flap and it allows the exhaust to be a little bit more louder. So to say that this is a very unique feature that's only available in expensive or performance-oriented cars priced way above 300,000 ringgit, but for 100,000 plus you'll get this feature, which is quite good. Well, some say it's a gimmick. Well, let's see how this car actually drives. Alright, so now we're driving the GS3 Emzoom. So like I said earlier, on paper you can see the specs and everything, it's quite good because like I said earlier, this is the torquiest car in its segment, and the horsepower and the 0 to 100 figures are quite nice. But once you're behind the wheel, you can feel the car is a little bit lackluster. Even if you put on the sport mode and you slam on the pedal, you can feel the engine is a little bit, it's not really that less responsive, so to say. So I have to say maybe this is due to, like, you can really feel there's a little bit of a turbo lag there. Maybe the DCT gearbox is not as intuitive or as engaging as we've seen in other models, or maybe it's just the problem with the throttle mapping, because compared to the other Chinese cars, especially the Cherry Tiggo 7 that I drove, which has a more aggressive, more sensitive throttle mapping, this one feels a little bit more tame, which is quite counterintuitive because the car looks sporty. You also got sporty features and everything, and the throttle mapping is a bit on the softer side. But actually it's also a good thing because despite its rather high torque output of 270 Nm, the car is less susceptible to wheel spins or even more importantly to torque steering, so it's really good on that side. But then again, on the long run, once you hit on the pedal and everything, once the power kicks in at 5,500 RPM, the car just flows, and on the highway you can drive this car on the fast road rather comfortably, I would say. So it's pretty good once you get done from the get-go. But speaking of steering, also for the steering part, I think this is quite decent, surprisingly, because some Chinese cars tend to be quite harsh on the steering side, because unlike cars that have been developed for our market, for example like the Proton S50, they don't really do much extensive work on the suspension tuning and the handling of the car. But I have to say, for the Emzoom here, it's okay. It's not as good as something like the Mazda CX-30 or like the Proton S50, but it is quite respectable. You can really feel that you can confidently driving it, although the suspension is on the softer side, which is actually good because it also contributes to a pretty respectable comfort, because even you're driving beyond the highway speed, the car feels okay. It's not feeling too wobbly or too bumpy, which is quite good. And of course, in terms of noise level, also typical, once you go beyond the highway speed, of course you're gonna get some wind noise. But surprisingly, these tires, although they use this like unknown tire, it's called Century Kirin or something, but this tire is quite respectable because it's not as loud as other non-brand tires that I've tried before. But at the same time, the dry grip is quite respectable, but on the wet grip, that's another story, of course. And then of course you've got this very novel or fancy adaptive or active exhaust system. Well, some may call it just a mere gimmick and everything, but I think honestly for this price it's actually very rare. I think this is the only car under the 200,000 ringgit mark to come with this active exhaust system, which is quite good for us mere mortals who couldn't afford to buy the AMGs and the M's and everything. So that for just 100,000 plus you can get a car with an active exhaust, which is, I think, that's quite a good offer in case you're really into this kind of thing. But overall, in terms of driving, it's alright. alright. It could be a little bit more sportier. Of course, they could have tuned or remapped the throttle mapping to be more sensitive and everything, but as it is, I would say it's a better Chinese car to be driven, and of course to be driven also because comfort level is quite nice too. In terms of driving ergonomics, like I said previously, I really like the steering wheel feel because of this perforated leather material, especially on the grip side, and the steering wheel also is quite nice. Like I said earlier, it's just missing the pedal shifter, because I would say if they add the pedal shifters, you will feel more engaging when driving this rather sporty car, because of course you got active exhaust and everything, but it's just missing the pedal shifters, which is, I think, just a little bit of miss. But other than that, in terms of everything else, like I said earlier, this car does not come with some sort of driving related buttons, whether it's on central console or on the front dash and everything. So meaning that most of the driving settings, especially the ADAS ones, most of them are hidden inside the infotainment, which I think this can be quite a dangerous thing, to be honest, because you really need to stop by to just access the setting, because to use them while driving can be quite dangerous, and it can be quite annoying for drivers also, because we are just so used to have like driving mode setting on the center console here, because I think they just add like 1 or 2 controls like the ADAS or like the key ADAS or the driving mode selector here. I think it would make the car feel much better in terms of ergonomics. But other than that, in terms of the view and everything, I kind of like this car. Driving position also quite nice. The steering wheel, like I said, is nice, and of course we already talked about the instrument cluster where it is quite reflective. You just need to add like a hood on the top here. Everything is good. Okay, back to the safety. Of course, being a Chinese car, it comes with a rather healthy dose of active and passive safety features. We're going to talk about ADAS, because the ADAS, yes, you got functions like the adaptive cruise control and bi-sport monitor and everything, but you also come with this camera view where if you place your signal, the infotainment is going to show you on the right camera side. Basically the same thing that like what Honda did with their Honda Lane Watch, or like something like the Kia Carnival where you can actually see the camera on the side mirror. But unfortunately, some of the ADAS functions like the lane keepiness and everything, it doesn't work as good as other models out there. But at least at the end of the day, for the price, you still get the full swing of things. But other key ADAS things like adaptive cruise control, I would say it works rather well. But of course, passive safety, you got like 4 airbags and everything. You also got the tire pressure monitor system. I think many of these cars at this price are still lacking. But for the Chinese car and even the Proton, they already offer the TPMS, which I think is quite good, because you can really detect any small leak on your tire or any small puncture on the tire quite early on before everything gets worse. So in terms of safety, of course, the others could be a little bit better, but for this price, I would say for the function you get, it's all good. So to conclude, who should really buy this sporty China-made B segment SUV? Okay, like I said earlier, the GAC GS3 Emzoom is perfect for those buyers who are looking to stand out in the crowd a little bit, for those who refuse to conform to the norms of buying the Protons, the Hondas, the Cherries and whatnot. And I assure you, this car is going to help you to stand out in the crowd just like that. And especially for those who are just a little bit more adventurous to venture or try a new brand, because like I said earlier, the GAC brand is quite new. It's just been launched in our market this year, but at least we know it is being backed by a very long time player in our industry, of course, Tan Chong Motors. Okay, for this B segment SUV, is also priced rather competitively at 128,900 ringgit for this range-topping premium R variant, which putting it on par with some of the range-topping B segment SUVs available out there. Well, in conclusion, like I said, the car's got decent performance. The looks, I mean, it can be rather you like it or you hate it, but I personally like it. It really looks very unique, and it comes with a very novel feature, which is of course the active exhaust system. Of course, the interior could be a little bit better, but overall it's a very good alternative to other B segment SUVs in our market, and for a rather good price. But then again, these are just my thoughts and opinions. So what do you guys actually think of this new GAC GS3 Emzoom B segment SUV? Would you rather take this stylish SUV over any other models out there? As always, don't forget to leave the thoughts, comments below. For more content like this, check out caricarzcom/news. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe. We'll see you in the next video. Take care.